Hey everyone, welcome back to Room 237. Coming at you with another DC animated film. And this time it's not Batman. It is my second favorite comic book character, Constantine. And this is City of Demons. This came out last year, and it's longer than normal DC animated films. This is a full 90 minutes. I really enjoy this movie. I wish there were more animated Constantine films. The only other one there is, really, which is the one that got me into Constantine, is Justice League Dark. Which I bought this because of Batman, but then watching it I got into Constantine and Swamp Thing. And as you can see, all these books are all Constantine Hellblazer books, the original series. And give me 1 second. Fuck in there. But yeah, I love this movie. It is fucking great. I don't think there's any news of another Constantine film. There is next year going to be another Justice League Dark called Apocalypse War. I do enjoy the Keanu Reeves film. It is different, but I enjoy it. And even though this is called City of Demons, and there is a graphic novel called City of Demons, it's actually based on all his engines. Like, this is my favorite cover. This will probably be the next Constantine book I read. I started volume 1, which is Original Sins, but it's basically just a collection of short stories. And I think it actually... this takes place in London. So yeah, City of Demons, probably where it gets its name, but it's based on all his engines. And this is a great, very dark, really depressing DC animated film. It's rated R, of course it'd have to be. Bloody violence and gore, disturbing images and sexual content. And think about Constantine, like, where there's a bunch of demons and monsters and that are really imaginative. It sort of has like a Silent Hill feel, especially because of how violent and gory it can be. In fact, even like that thing that he does reminds me of the thing on the wall where you save the game on Silent Hill Homecoming, which is a fucking fantastic game. So, the story of this one, was in all his engines. And there's also an episode of Constantine, the TV series, which only lasted 1 season, which is a bitch, because I really like this show. Matt Ryan is the best Constantine we've ever had. The dude's absolutely perfect. And he voices him in this and Justice League Dark. If you're familiar with John Constantine, well, first of all, if you're not, he doesn't have superpowers. He's like a detective of the occult and the supernatural. He goes around, finds out what demons are up to, and he finds a way to send them back to hell and save whoever needs it. Well, and that he has a friend named Chaz who helps him. And in this story, his friend Chaz, who has an 8-year-old daughter named Trish, goes into a coma. And there's actually a whole case in LA of the people falling into comas. And he is English, he's British, as is Chaz, so His daughter's in the hospital in a coma in London, but he finds out that the demon that has her is in LA, and that's the City of Demons. But actually, it opens up when Constantine and Chaz were younger, like in their late teens, early 20s, in a insane asylum called Ravenclaw, where Constantine is, and he can't stop using magic. Later on, we find out why he's in there. So he goes to LA to sort of parlay with this demon, who we're supposed to believe it goes by the name of Barul. Now, Barul is this really overweight, this massive. Think of like. Let's see if I can find a good one of him just like standing there. Think of like Kingpin from Marvel. He has the girl Trish's soul. And the reason why he took it was because he knew, being Chaz's daughter, John was going to get involved. And John is the one that he needs. Because he loves, this demon Barul loves LA. It's where people come to follow their dreams. Actors, musicians, whatever. And they're willing to sell their soul for success. And for a while, he's been allowed to sort of rule LA to that extent. But there's 5 more demons in the way who are posing as competition. So if Constantine can find a way to take them out, he'll give the girl back. And while Chaz and John are doing that, there's this character, I can't remember her name, but on the back of this it says Nightmare Nurse, who is a demon, but she can take the form of like a nurse, and she has supernatural powers to sort of keep Trish safe in the hospital with Chaz's wife, whom he's separated with. And Chaz's wife tells her the story about how John and Chaz were kids. That's when they became really, really close friends. And later they formed this like punk rock band, or this rock band. John got really into the occult and black magic. And they were doing this gig in Newcastle, because Newcastle keeps coming up. And there was this guy whose last name was Logue, I think it was, who was a cultist, who used his own daughter named Astra as like a sacrifice to summon this demon. So John, wanting to save her, summoned this bigger demon, Nergal, to stop the demon, which he did, but he took the girl Astra's soul with him. And that traumatized a young John, and why he ended up going to Ravenclaw, and eventually why he mastered the dark arts and is now going around saving people, like from demons and such. So every time Astra or Newcastle comes up, it strikes a chord with him. And we soon find out that Barul is not the actual demon holding Trish captive. That's just a costume, and it's actually Nergal. At the same time, there's the Queen of Angels named Angela, who rules. She's the Queen of Los Angeles. She's the one that sort of has this deal, like she can look over Los Angeles, let Nergal kind of do his soul taking on like a small level. But to speed things along, Constantine decides to get this other demon. Let's see if I can pronounce this. Mictlantecuhtli, who sort of looks like Iron Maiden's power slave, Eddie, to take out the other 5. And it's a really dark. I love the animation. The animation is very similar, one to Justice League Dark, but also like the New 52 era of like DC animated films, like Son of Batman, Batman vs. Robin, and such. So I'm going to say spoilers, but I really love this movie. It's a really great, blend of, so another reason why I like Batman, which is the same reason why I like Constantine. He's a detective. That's sort of his main power, I guess. I definitely urge DC or Constantine fans, animated comic book fans, to check this out. So spoilers, I love it. So after Michelangelo gets the other 5 demons, John goes back on his words and, I can't let you live. I have to stop you because, I just needed you for that. And Nergal is unwilling to give Trish up. Because he made a deal with Angela about how, okay, I'll do my thing over here and I'll stay out of your way and what you do. But just to stick it to John, because all of hell knows Constantine. And all of hell hates Constantine. So just to stick it to him, he's going to keep Trish, put her with Astra in the depths of hell. And earlier in the film, John had asked Chaz, Chaz pretty much says, there's nothing I wouldn't sacrifice. Or, there's not anything I wouldn't sacrifice. Or, I would sacrifice anything for Trish to be saved. And sort of the motif or theme of the film is Constantine says, there's always a price, mate. Or, no, he says, there's always a catch, mate. There's always a catch. So the final straw is John decides to open the gates of hell, have all these demons come out and try to claim Los Angeles, which is Nergal's sort of paradise because of all the people that are willing to sell their souls for success. So Nergal agrees to set Trish free. John closes the gates and he still won't give him up. So there's this one last spell that John can use. But he asked Chaz, he's like, did you mean it when you said you would give anything? Or there's nothing you wouldn't sacrifice? He's like, yes, I was serious. So he does the spell. Trish wakes up. But the price on that was he had to use... Because Trish was inside Nergal. Like, she was a prisoner inside of him. So he had to use that spell that transferred all the love that his wife and his daughter had for him to come out of her and through him, because love supposedly trumps demons. And so by doing that, he had to use so much love that they now have no love and no memory of him. But he still does. He still has it of them. So he has to go the rest of his life with, not having his family anymore. Like, she's still alive, but he can never go back to his family. And that's really depressing. And just when he's about to hit John, he stops. And he's kind of confused. And that's when he tells him and also us, their love wasn't enough. I had to give more. I had to give the love that we had for each other as lifelong best friends. So you're just going to remember me as the guy that tried to save your daughter. You're going to remember all of this, like the demons and shit. But you're not going to remember the 2 boys who grew up together and have been friends forever. So yeah, it's a really depressing kind of... The ending's a bit of a bummer. But, the gore is really good. The design of the demons and the creatures. Like, we're still under the impression that it's Barul who's doing this. He lives in this big rundown mansion. And he hosts these like hell parties. Like he walks around like a Hugh Hefner robe. He's a very elegant speaker as well. And like there are like demons who like there's like a house band, but like their instruments are like torture devices. Like there's one that's a harp with a naked woman like tangled in the strings, and every time the guy plays it, she gets shocked. Or like a drum set with like a guy laying on top of all of it. Every time it gets hit, blood goes everywhere. It sort of reminds me of like Clive Barker's Tortured Souls, which is a great figure set. That's series 2. I gotta get series 1. But it reminds me of that. And there's like this projector screen. And, you know, there's all these like, because the theme is like the 20s. So there's people in suits who like get whipped to dance. It's people who are already damned. And he like throws these people through the screen, then they're in the movie, a black and white silent film, where they're tortured. So like they will pop up, they'll say scream, horrified scream. It's just people dying, getting tortured. And then he's like, well, if you're not into the 20s, then he kicks up to like an 80s sort of, you know, like the music sounds like the music to Cars by Gary Newman. And everything changes accordingly. There's this thing he likes to do where he has this giant pool with it's green in the comic, it's red in the film, of all these like rotting bodies. And when it gets warm enough, in the flesh and meat melts, he takes out the bones, then he just like soaks in it. It's pretty gross, but it's awesome. Yeah, there's a big, on the splash page, it's like a big hell party like that. Of course the comic is a bit more graphic, but yeah, I love this movie. Matt Ryan does a great job at the voice. Again, he's the best Constantine ever. People who follow DC shows now will probably know him. He also plays Constantine in Legends of Tomorrow. I hope we get more animated Constantine films. Because, I mean, there's a ton of stories that you could take. A popular one would be like Dangerous Habits, where he gets cancer and dupes the demons, which is actually the Keanu Reeves film. Bunch of stuff that you could take and do, but yeah, I love City of Demons. Great animated film. Constantine's my second favorite comic character. It doesn't hold back on the horror aspect or the gore and stuff like that. That's all great. Definitely check this out. But anyway, I thank you for watching.